Kanye West, Joe Rogan, Megyn Kelly, other celebrities have all faced cancel culture, a merciless social media backlash targeting their comments and beliefs, which seeks to remove them from society for a period of time. The social firing squad isn't just for the elite. In fact, most cancel culture victims are young, voiceless, financially vulnerable, or don't have a major platform on which to defend themselves. Last year, I became one of these victims. This guy's name's Rav Aurora. In the summer of 2020, when defunding the police became a popular refrain and white supremacy was considered the greatest threat to the West, I wrote an essay sharing my experiences with racism growing up as a young Sikh boy in the majority white area of British Columbia, Canada. However, I also argue that making broad racial generalizations and stripping minorities of human agency and self-determination does not lead to the racial progress. It does precisely the opposite. Soon after the piece called The Fallacy of White Privilege appeared in this newspaper in November of 2020, it went viral, leading to an interview with the Hills Sagar and Jadiani's show called Rising, and later on the appearance of the Adam Carolla show. I was surprised and happy about reaching such a huge audience until I realized I had violated the current culture of political correctness. On social media, I lost friends, former classmates, colleagues, sports teammates, and social connections. I noticed as my private, relatively tight-knit Instagram following declined from 500 to 250 followers. One of my best friends since 7th grade blocked me on Instagram for views he considered critical of the Black Lives Matter movement. I've not spoken to him since, despite seeing him at recent social gatherings where he ignores me. This may sound juvenile and trivial, but when social media has increasingly replaced real social interactions during the pandemic, the ostracism took a heavy toll. At 19, I felt like I was born in the wrong generation.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Mm-hmm. Even so, I felt compelled to keep speaking out, taking a contrarian position on social issues, leading to a more widespread attention. The handful of young moderates in my social circle who support my work messaged me in private saying they respected my views, but when unable to publicly support or share them on social media. One friend said, "I loved your appearance on the Ben Shapiro show, man, but don't tell anyone I said that. I'll be crucified."
Yeah.
2020, Paul Henderson, the editor of my local paper, the Chilliwack Progress, who happens to be white, started talking to social media to accuse me of downplaying racism in our society and spreading misinformation. Worse, he went on to describe my views as alt-right, frequently used to describe white nationalism. I've also faced backlash in my college, University of Fraser Valley. Last August, concerned with social justice activism pervading academia, tweeted one of the history professors at my college to ask if my perspective would be welcome in our course on race relations, expecting her to welcome my ideas. I was shocked to see her bluntly say, "I'm not interested, no way." And this is really interesting because we're talking about a guy that no one knows.
That's right. Right.
He had a post that went viral, and I think it'd be interesting what people would be willing to pay to have something go viral. I don't know what constitutes viral. 100,000, a million? I mean, it's got to be a lot, right?
Yeah. And it keeps changing. Yeah. I mean, it's
we all want to go viral.
Well, it's
in the right way.
It's a lot, so it's somewhere. It's not just the amount; it's the how quickly it goes. But yeah, so let's say from 100,000 to 5 million, but quick. You know what I mean? Quick.
Yeah, and here's, we always talk in radio, any publicity is good publicity. It doesn't matter what it is, good or bad, it's good publicity because people are talking about you. If you have posted something that has gone viral, you have captured an enormous amount of people based on what you said, whether you believed it, whether you didn't believe it, whether it was horrible, whether it was nuts, whatever it is.
That's right. And
so you're like, okay, I got this. And you want to strike where that iron's hot. Now, this particular guy I don't think was looking to go viral, but as a writer and a journalist, he was very, very happy that a lot of people partook in what he had to say. And obviously a lot of people didn't like it. And conversely, while he doesn't consider himself a racist, just based on his writings, and I looked at a couple other things, he's not. He's a 19-year-old and was just speaking as a young 19-year-old British Columbia student. It attracted this alt-right wing. You go, man. Doing the Nazi signal signs, all that stuff. He's like, oh, God, what have I created here?
Yep.
So at that point in time, I'm thinking to myself, if I have ever created anything that went viral, you're desperately trying to hold on to that because, I mean, if you ask anyone who's always looking for followers, and everyone's looking for followers, I'm on Facebook.
But you want viral. You want viral that's consistent with your views.
Yeah, and,
You don't-
and this was consistent with his views.
But not
it just
in-
attracted the wrong people.
That's
and he was
right.
really surprised by how many people that he had befriended for 30, 40
Yeah.
or not in this particular case, 34 years, he's 19. How many people disowned him and basically was canceled. So he went on to say, in many ways, the outrage over my dissent has reached its peak. Any new assault on my character by my local newspaper editor or anyone else will have little influence or impact on my mental state of work. Perhaps most importantly, I've established my independent voice and can modestly financially support myself with the writings I do now because of my viral release. Mm-hmm. But one thing is clear, the reputational costs for dissenting from the correct views are high. According to a 2020 Heterodox academic survey, 62% of sampled college students believe the climate on their campus prevents them from sharing their views on social and political issues, mostly because they fear backlash from professors and other students. Meanwhile, only 8% of Gen Z supports cancel culture, according to a recent Morning Consult survey. While rich, powerful celebrities are comparatively bulletproof from cancel culture, it's no wonder why so many ordinary people remain silent or cynically supportive of the social justice cause du jour. The odds are stacked against them from the university system, the media, the labor market, and broader culture, and compliance is the only financially and socially sustainable option. It's really interesting because I do think a lot of young people do get canceled. The good thing is you're young, and the first thing I'm thinking of, and I'm a ratings guy, right?
Oh, that's great, yeah.
You know, if
Tony Curry gets canceled.
If I shot somebody live on Facebook,
yeah.
boy, I would get a lot of views. Okay, what am I going to do with that? Okay, obviously I would never do that. Right. But in this particular case, he was not trying to create a viral post. No. It went viral and say, okay, you have the attention of the entire room.
Now what are you going to do?
Now what are you going to do?
Right.
And that's where...
But I think that obviously if you're trying to go viral, which is hard. I mean, that's the other thing. You hear this all the time. Right? You're trying to go viral, you usually don't. Right? And this is a problem with social media. Everybody's trying to do something to one up. I think the ones that go viral typically are the ones where people are, like you said, they're speaking to us. It's not BS. We speak. But so if you go, this guy's case, you go viral, now what are you going to do? You don't have to do anything. Like you went viral.
You have to continue to put out, if you want to retain that viralness.
Well, that's exactly. Well, no,
but in this particular case, he was losing money. He was being just absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to retain the viralness. Is that a word? I don't think that's a word.
And this is really interesting because if you pose this to any 19-year-old in this country right now, you're going to post something that's going to go viral. We'll say it's 2 million.
Okay.
And in this particular case, is a view that he believes in. So this is not something where he threw something crazy out just to get viewers, like most people do. How many people will be willing to take that shot to know that they could be canceled for it, but you still have the room? You have 2 million people watching your next move. Yeah. What are you going to do with it? I seriously, in this particular case, if I threw something out that went over 1 million views, and I don't know if that would ever happen, I'm trying. I said something about Nick Saban on Saturday just to see what happened.
Well, I hear that word. Yeah,
it was huge. It was great, and I believed it. And it's amazing because then everything I posted thereafter was getting a lot more views than anything else I posted before. I even reposted something from 2 years ago that just blew up. Right? It's just crazy. And really, sometimes I just want to see if people are out there.
Yes.
I've got 13,000 followers. I'm like, where are you? And there they are. But it'd be interesting to see if you could encapsulate that, and we have to get going here in a second, but if you could encapsulate that, how many 19-year-olds would take that shot? How many of them would be willing to 86 every one of their buddies to be an influencer?
I think it depends on the 19-year-old and what they believe in and whether they're just looking for fame or they're looking for a cause.